Now at 10, the Southeast Kansas Recycling Center bestows big honors on one of its former presidents. Plus, Special Olympics hosts a summit to train the leaders of tomorrow. And the city of Pittsburgh is beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Federal funds will soon make their way to Joplin for recycling education. This is KOAM News at 10. I'm Dow Quick. The Environmental Protection Agency made the announcement on this recycling day. Joplin will get a grant of more than $1.7 million. City plans to use the funds to support a 3-year campaign focused on further expanding recycling awareness and encouraging behavioral changes through educational programs. Also on this America Recycles Day, the Southeast Kansas Recycling Center dedicated its building to James Triplett, the nonprofit's former president. KOAM's Fernanda Silva was there to learn about his legacy and check out the SEKR open house.
It was in the 90s when James Triplett started getting involved with recycling in Pittsburgh. Now, 30 years later, the former PSU professor's legacy is recognized as Southeast Kansas Recycling Center dedicates its building to the former president.
I find it difficult to believe I'm being honored for something I've had so much fun with.
Triplett is one of the driving forces behind the SEK Recycling Center. Last year, SEKR processed more than 900 tons of material, and they hope to reach the same number in 2023.
When the materials get here, they are processed and baled. Every month, more than 4 trucks come to SEKR, and each of them take more than 30 of these bills.
You can see all these boxes here. These are boxes waiting to be compacted. What we'll do is we'll run it through the compactor and we'll wind up with a bale. So we run all of these different materials through the same baling operation. So we smash them hard, we put steel wire around them to hold them.
Do you guys sometimes get things that are valuable that maybe people are throwing away?
We have what we call a reuse shop. Yeah, we do a lot of things to raise money so that we can do what we're really trying to do, which is recycle.
The nonprofit says recycling is essential to save the environment and to make economy more efficient.
You know, I recycle and I compost, and I probably don't generate a kitchen trash bag every week and a half, maybe 2 weeks.
By giving examples and teaching, Triplett says he saw an increase in the number of people recycling, but SEKR hopes to see more.
We can only waste material for so long before it catches up to us.
In Pittsburgh, Fernanda Silva, KOAM News.
Now you can learn about what kind of materials you can take to SEK Recycling Center and open times for drop-off on our website. Of course, that's KOAMnewsnow.com. Beautiful day. Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy joins us.
Well, it definitely turned out to be another great day for us today. We've had a pretty good stretch of nice weather about 3 or 4 days now. Of course, we were a little cooler late last week, but 71 for a high. Started at 44. 59 is our average high, and our record high on this day to 77, set back in 1950. We're a little dry so far in November. We haven't had much in the way of rainfall, so we need some rain, and we do have some rain in the forecast, which is good. Temperatures dropping through the lower 50s into the upper 40s. Not quite as chilly for us tonight. I think most of us will stay mid to upper 40s, but clear skies right now, but clouds will start to increase. Our next storm system is building out toward the west, so we'll start to get clouds increasing through the morning hours for us tomorrow. Temperatures to start at 47, back to 59 by 10 a.m. Of course, we're going to be talking about all the changes coming up here in just a bit.
See you soon. Fort Scott schools and local government offices reopen after an escaped inmate caused a brief lockdown today. The Sheriff's Department says 54-year-old Melvin Ray Foley III escaped while on work release from the Bourbon County Jail around 10 this morning. Authorities say he entered a home where he tried to alter his appearance and took personal property. State and city law enforcement sent drones and canine units to help with Foley's capture. Foley had been in the Bourbon County Jail for charges including burglary and criminal damage to property. Now additional charges could be filed. Parsons Middle School teachers' quick actions saved the life of a student. Parsons Middle Schooler Ethan Brown was joking in class with friends while snacking on a piece of candy and began choking. Ethan ran over to his teacher, Joe Campmere, who called for help and performed the Heimlich maneuver. Within seconds, Ethan could breathe again.
I'm very grateful for him to assist me that fast, and he's my favorite teacher and always has been.
His parents showed me a lot of gratitude. They were messaging me back and forth. His grandparents, I believe, even reached out to my parents and expressed their gratitude to them.
The school requires training in CPR and the Heimlich maneuver for many staff members, not all of them, but it does require them for coaches, cafeteria workers, or club supervisors. The historic Washington School building in Pittsburgh has begun renovations. The project is led by Point Forward, an organization that says it's dedicated to meeting the needs of people in Crawford County. The building will be turned into an early child care facility to help relieve a shortage in the community. Despite the renovation, the project hopes to preserve some of the building's history.
The cupola on the front up here, everyone that talks to us about the renovation, this first thing they ask, are you going to keep the cupola? Are you going to keep the name on the front of the building? Are you going to keep the flagpole out front? So yeah, we really want to restore it rather than change it.
Organizers hope to have the renovations completed by January 1st of 2025. Middle and high school students attended the first ever Unified Champion Schools Southeast Youth Summit today. The summit was open to students with and without disabilities to come as a pair to learn more about leadership. Educators and organizers explored with students how leaders connect with others, their schools, and their communities. There was also time for plenty of fun activities. The goal of the summit was to cultivate the community leaders of tomorrow today.
So our hope is that these students, who again have been chosen because they're really seen as leaders for inclusion in their school, will take these skills, take these activities back to their schools, and they'll start unified clubs. They'll encourage more people to go out for unified sports. They'll just find different ways to make their schools more inclusive.
The theme for this year's summit was connections. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, at least on Broadway in Pittsburgh. Crews work hard to set up the lights before Thanksgiving, so they're ready for the Christmas parade on November 27th.
I just want them to appreciate that it's that time of year. It's a time to be charitable, be kind, and it's the holiday season.
When do they put those up? Well, early in the morning when there aren't many people out. The lights begin at 2nd and Broadway and at 12th and Broadway. Coming up, a big signing today for Pitt State and the Gorillas. They land a talented track athlete. John's going to have details in sports, but first.
President Biden looks to manage the relationship between the world's two largest economies. I'm Skyler Henry recapping the high-stakes summit between the U.S. and China.
President Xi Jinping of China told President Biden that the earth is big enough for the U.S. and China. The high-stakes summit near San Francisco is their first face-to-face meeting in a year amid a widening rift between the two countries. Reporter Skyler Henry has more.
At the start of about 4 hours of high-stakes discussions, President Biden and China's leader exchanged a warm handshake. But the talks come amid hand-wringing over growing tensions between Washington and Beijing on wide-ranging issues.
We'll continue to compete vigorously with the PRC, but we'll manage that competition responsibly so it doesn't veer into conflict or accidental conflict.
Meeting near San Francisco on the sidelines of the APEC conference, the White House has been hoping Biden's first face-to-face talks with Xi Jinping in a year would bring progress. On the fentanyl crisis sweeping the U.S., a plan emerged for China to ramp up efforts to go after companies that make precursor chemicals for fentanyl.
It's going to save lives, and I appreciate President Xi's commitment on this issue.
China and the U.S. have also been at increasing odds over trade, human rights, the sovereignty of Taiwan, wars in Ukraine, and now Gaza.
I think it's going to stop when Hamas no longer maintains the capacity to murder and abuse and just do horrific things to the Israelis.
On another front, China agreed to several steps in hopes of finding ways to address frayed military communications between the two superpowers, especially important after dozens of reports of unsafe incidents involving Chinese aircraft and U.S. military planes.
And that's how accidents happen, misunderstandings. So we're back to direct, open, clear, direct communications on a direct basis.
Earlier Wednesday, President Xi said the relationship between the countries has never been smooth sailing, but turning their backs is not an option. Skyler Henry, CBS News, Washington.
During questions from reporters, President Biden said he was doing everything in his power to free hostages held by the Hamas in Gaza, but that did not mean sending in the U.S. military. Researchers say they're getting closer to creating a vaccine for HIV. A team at the University of Cologne reports learning more about antibodies that neutralize HIV in patients and hope to eventually produce a vaccine that induces those antibodies. 1.2 million people are infected by HIV every year. The latest Department of Labor report showed that falling gas prices helped cool overall inflation, which remained unchanged from September to October. Compared to a year ago, consumer prices were 3.2% higher last month, down from 3.7% in September. Doug's forecast is next, and later the MIAA serves up big honors to some local volleyball players. John's going to have more for us in sports.
Sales and one at Johnson Floor and Home.
Blue today.
Well, of course, it turned out to be a great day once again for us today. Temperatures fantastic across the region. Quite a bit of sunshine. Still looks good out there right now. Here's a nice shot. This is on top of the Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex, of course, downtown Joplin. We are looking off toward the north and to the east, but the roads are dry. We are dry. It looks fine as we go through the overnight tonight. But then we'll start to see some changes, especially next week. And we need the changes. Look at our month so far. 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. It's been dry, and I mean mainly dry. And look at our temps. Almost every single day has been above normal. We're going to flip the script on both of those by the time we get into Thanksgiving week. All right, going outside, temperatures cooling down. Most of us mid to upper 40s to lower 50s. Now, I think most of us will bottom out mid to upper 40s. Not quite as cool as what we have seen over the past couple nights, but the winds are going to start to pick up. They'll start to increase a little bit for us late tonight, and they'll really pick up tomorrow morning. So tomorrow afternoon, we're going to have winds gusting 30 upwards to about 35 miles per hour at times. Now, we get a cold front early Friday morning. So behind the front, the winds are going to switch out of the north. Not quite as strong, but still breezy Friday morning. And then they'll start to calm a little bit as we go into Friday afternoon. So if we look at our wind forecast, where's my trash can? Knocked over. It should stay in your yard, but still knocked over, so you may want to put it in the garage. All right, into the morning hours, 51 and 11, 49 by 7. Overnight low, 47. Back to 59 by 10 a.m. But clear skies, not a whole bunch is going on here. Clouds starting to increase out to our west. We have 2 waves, one across Montana, one off the coast of California. So both of those storm systems will affect us as we go through the next few days. By morning, mid 40s. Watch the clouds increase through the morning hours. By afternoon, mostly cloudy skies. We're stopping at 3:30 in the afternoon. High temps anywhere from about 69 to 71. Tomorrow night, clouds stick around, and here comes our cold front for Friday morning. Now, ahead of the front, we could get a random shower, maybe a few sprinkles. That should be just about it. In the cooler air behind the front, it just drops us back to where we should be for this time of the year, highs into the 60s. All right, 64 by noon, 65 by 4. High temp tomorrow of about 69 degrees. Look at this. Let's go into late Sunday. Rain rolls in. A cold rain Sunday night. Monday, rain sticks around through Monday. Rain, maybe even a few flakes of snow by Tuesday. And that's really going to cool us down as we head into Thanksgiving. And we got to watch also a storm system right after Thanksgiving that could be a little interesting with a rain-snow mix. All right, 69 on your Thursday, 63 on Friday. 64 on Saturday, Rain increases late Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Right now, Thanksgiving is dry, but right after on Black Friday could be a little bit tricky.
Doug, thanks. Had the annual Letters to Santa campaign kicked off today. It runs until December 8th. Children are invited to write a letter to Santa, drop it in Santa's mailbox at the Joplin Parks and Rec offices, Academy Sports, or the Joplin History and Mineral Museum. An after-hours mailbox is also available at the department's office. Letters must include the child's first and last name, a return mailing address, and a few details about the child, such as their school if they attend one, their brothers or sisters, pets, friends, maybe a wish list. The letters will be delivered to the North Pole, and Santa will write back to each child who sends him a letter. No party like Northeastern Oklahoma A&M College Party. NEO held a block party tonight ahead of its big game against Coffeyville. The meal was free for anyone with an NEO ID card and $10 to the public. The first 200 students got free t-shirts. Still ahead, Colgan High School track standout makes her college commitment. And highlights from tonight's basketball game between NEO and Coffeyville. John Dales has those stories and more up next.
Casey's has thin crust.
Your warranty lasts forever at Roper Honda.
Lily Brown is a multi-sport athlete at Colgan High School. This past June, she took home 3 state titles in track. That's the sport she'll be competing in at the college level. And this afternoon, she signs her national letter of intent. The Panther standout is heading to Pitt State, staying here in the 4 states. Now, Colgan track head coach Kathy Oplotnik summed things up pretty well when she said, simply, Lily is a stud. And she's grateful for all the support she's received at Colgan, but Brown is ready to join a new group of teammates at PSU.
They've been, a major factor. They ultimately are what makes it fun to compete, and so I'm really grateful for them. Without them, it wouldn't be nearly as fun. Overall, their team and atmosphere was just beyond compared to all the other ones. I just love the atmosphere of the team and how everyone was working hard.
The postseason is here for college volleyball. Pitt State's season is over. Missouri Southern, though, qualifies for the 2023 MIAA tournament. And today the conference releases its all MIAA teams. 3 Missouri Southern players find themselves on that list. Fernanda Canedo and Amelia Neals selected to the second team all-conference. Meanwhile, Kyla Randall named as an honorable mention. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh State Volleyball has 2 members of its team receiving all-conference honors. That's senior outside hitter Janae Thurston, who selected to the second team and is now a 3-time all-conference performer. And sophomore libero Josie McCroskey receives all MIAA honorable mention. Now here's the full bracket for the 2023 MIAA volleyball tournament. Like I mentioned, no Pittsburgh State on your screen. That's because only the top 8 teams qualify. Missouri Southern is the 7 seed, playing 2-seeded Central Oklahoma in the first round. That's the first match of the tournament. It's at noon tomorrow. The Lions lost to the Broncos 3-1 and 3-0 in their 2 meetings during the regular season. College basketball continuing to pick up steam here in the 4 states. Tonight, 2 of our local junior colleges face each other at the men's and women's levels. Coffeyville on the road at NEO, starting with the women's side. Good game here. The Red Ravens fall behind early. They were trailing by 20 points at halftime, but battle their way back in the second half. Ultimately, though, just to come up short. NEO wins at home for its 2nd victory of the season, 69-66, the final. NEO men's hoops hosting Coffeyville. They met a week ago. Golden Norsemen won by 5 in overtime. 6 minutes into the first half, Tobias Rowland nails a 3-pointer. That gives an early 8-3 lead to NEO. A couple minutes later, Ranyo Obu takes the 3 from the top of the key. That's nothing but net. Another 3 pushes the lead up to 8. Coffeyville on the fast break trying to get back in it. 7-footer Charles Caparasso cuts the lead to 6 with a dunk. NEO, though, answers right back. Obu No-look pass here to Masai Graham for the two-handed flush that makes it 20-5 Golden Norseman. Then here's the highlight of the night. Johnny Summers with the steal, goes for the dunk, but the chase down block by Tobias Rowland. What a play. NEO goes on to win it 77-59, the final score. That was a heck of a play.
Great defense.
Yes, yeah. You don't see that very often, too.
Donnie-
The chase down block from all the way down the court.
Yeah, that was impressive. We'll be right back.
Sticklin.
And I'm Sarah Sticklin McDonald with the Sticklin & Sticklin.
A four-state hero.
Baskin-Robbins now has created a special ice cream flavor for the month. It's called Turkey Day Fixins, and supposedly it tastes, well, like the name suggests. Baskin-Robbins says the flavor is a combination of some of the sides you look forward to on Thanksgiving. Combination of sweet potato, autumn spices, swirls of cranberry sauce, and pieces of honey cornbread all in one scoop. Or alternatively, you could just actually eat the sides, I suppose. You can also order Turkey Day Fixins for delivery through DoorDash or Uber Eats or Grubhub. Now, here's Doug.
All right, it's going to be a chilly night tonight. We drop back into the mid-40s. 69 for us tomorrow. Clouds increase. It's going to be windy all day. Maybe a few morning sprinkles on Friday. Nice on Saturday, 64. Rain increases late Sunday, Monday into Tuesday, and greatly cools us down as we go into next week. Of course, next week is Thanksgiving week. Down?
Yeah, and the weather for the most part looking pretty good heading into that. A lot going on in sports.
Yeah, there certainly is. Tomorrow we hear from the Gorilla football team ahead of their home football playoff game against UIndy. Again, this is the team they beat 35-0 a year ago, but they come in very hot, so we'll see what the Gorillas think about them tomorrow.
Yeah, and of course they're going to be playing in Pittsburgh, and I know
Yes.
they would love to see that stadium filled up for
They
this
definitely would.
game. Everything on the line. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget the morning show starts at 5 a.m. and let's make it a great tomorrow.